Today is September 14, 2021. We are in our regular city council meeting. The time is 7:04 p.m. We are holding this meeting in person, but we are requiring masks and social distancing. I'll call this meeting to order. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Sorry. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Citizens to be heard. Welcome, everyone. If you would like to be heard this evening, this is your time to do so. We do have comment cards that are outside. And are there any citizens that would like to be heard this evening? Okay, we will move on. Before we do, Summer, have we received any? Okay, I didn't think so. No, none online, which is still an option for folks during these times. Administrative reports. Carly, Acting City Manager update.
Hi, good evening. Can you guys understand me?
Yes.
I'll try to be really clear in my mask. I'm sorry, I tend to mumble. So I spent some time today writing down a few notes that I wanted to cover here at the beginning of the update because I want to acknowledge that we're in the first public meeting since the departure of our city attorney and our city manager. And at a time like this, it's natural for staff, for the council, and for the community to feel a sense of uncertainty. And so I hope to provide some information and perhaps, hopefully, some reassurances at this moment. So first of all, I just want to let everyone know and reassure them that these departures will have no impact on the provision of basic essential city services like water and sewer, streets, police, all of those functions. And in addition, at this time, I don't actually foresee that the departures will have a substantial impact on other projects, initiatives, or programs. It would be great if those positions were filled, but I don't see them as being mission critical for a lot of the things that we've got going on in the next couple of months. I also find it helpful to remember that while the city has enjoyed having a 4-person core team over the past few years, that being the city manager, the deputy city manager, the finance director, and the city attorney. That's sort of a actually new addition to the city structure. So it's not ideal that they are absent, but it's certainly workable. You know, if you recall when Joel first arrived, there was a time when he was first the city manager where he didn't have a deputy, he didn't have a city attorney. I think that was true for David too when he first arrived, and we know Donna ran the city, you know, without those things too for a long time. So again, workable. I know that this council wants a more robust leadership teams, but I just want to assure the community that I have confidence that we can make progress, even with 2 men down at this time. I also want to commend the City Council and city leadership for investing in and fostering a really capable and dedicated staff here at the city, especially at the department director level. Having these staff members in place pays off in so many ways, but in this situation, the result is that we have seasoned professional people who are capable of keeping the city on track during a transition. So the business of running the city just doesn't exist in the mind of one person at the top. It's spread out over several people throughout the institution. And that's why I feel so confident saying that we can still make progress at this time. I want to thank staff for their support and professionalism, as well as those members of the community and elected officials who have expressed support at this time. It's really appreciated. And I'm really hopeful about the weeks and months ahead. And for the community, for the council, of course, for my staff too, I have an open door policy, so feel free to reach out if you have questions or concerns during this time. And with that, I have actually just some business items to take care of. If there are any questions or Okay, some really good things to report on this week. Let's start off with our ARPA process. So we have submitted 3 projects for consideration for the Local Assistance Matching Grant Program. The Birch Street Sewer Project, the Walnut Lane Project, of course, and a 3rd project at our water reclamation facility. This is sort of a new one that emerged after consulting with DEQ and the Nature Conservancy. It's very exciting, and it involves, it's a 3-pronged project of replacing the outfall that is in disrepair and is critically needed to be replaced. There are opportunities to provide higher treated effluent to the wetland and perhaps rewater that wetland, the Matheson wetland. And we're also exploring providing the better treated effluent for construction water instead of using culinary water for that purpose. So really exciting, and we'll see how that goes. Just keep your fingers crossed for all 3 of those. Another item is that we get a lot of interest about when we're closing the pool, the outdoor pool each year for the MRAC. This year we have it scheduled for September 19th for the closure. And we close at the end of September because the cooler nighttime temperatures make it just more and more costly to heat the pool for daytime use. So that's why that has to happen. A 3rd item relates to the busy visitor season upon us and sort of the influx of OHVs in town. And as a result, Lisa and I heard from our chief of police requesting that we amp up engagement and education about our new OHV noise regulations. So Lisa's going to be working to, re-engage the community about those rules. You'll be seeing that happening around town. And finally, this is really exciting. It's sort of a sneak peek into the next meeting on September 28th. We are hoping to have 2 agreements before you for approval related to the hotspot funding project. So these are the 2 agreements that will transfer money over to the city from UDOT for transit and for dispersed parking. And in anticipation of the transit project, finally getting off the ground, we are embarking on a naming and logo development effort for the new system. So we're reviewing some consultants to help us with that work, and we anticipate engaging the city council, the county commission, and the general public. So really exciting. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Carly. And thank you so much for stepping up in this acting city manager position. Thank you so much. It's very much appreciated, and it's a heavy lift. So thank you.
Can we ask 1 or 2 questions?
Absolutely.
So I'm sure there's some people out there, either they sit in committees that Joel was on, or they had standing meetings, or just an issue they were working on an ongoing basis with him. So can you just give them some advice on how they should proceed, like who will be attending their meetings and or who should they reschedule with?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we have Kelly, our admin assistant, going through Joel's calendar as well as through his emails. So emails that are coming in that maybe are sort of stragglers, she will be forwarding to me, and she's forwarded a lot of emails that she wanted me to be aware of, and she's going through the calendar and making those reconnections again.
So like if people are watching and they're just wondering, so that's Kelly McInerney, she's the executive assistant, right? And
Yes.
then do we know her number off the top of our heads, anybody?
Oh, it's the main line.
25955.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
thank you. So,
Yeah.
okay, cool. That just sometimes is helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions for Carly? Thank you so much, Carly. And before we get to our reports, we have a sustainability update. Mila, welcome. We had originally talked about this being a workshop, but we decided to put it together as a sort of a bigger update for the council instead.
All right.
Like in volleyball, there's like bump, set, and spike. So we're kind of like setting right now, huh?
Totally. All right, let's see. How do I do this? Internet connection. Okay. So I have a number of things to talk about, but I will try to keep it relatively brief. There are a couple action items that you'll see at the next meeting. So those are going to be sort of teed up here for the future.
Mila, will you pull your mic just a little closer?
How's that?
I think that's
Better?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, of course. So these are the things I will be talking about today. The first is the Water Conservation Plan update. We've seen the draft of this before. The state has returned their comments. They only required one extra figure, and that was it. So we are pretty much good to go there. We are required to do a public hearing before adoption, so I anticipate that being probably in October. It needs to be adopted before January 1st, 2022, so that should give us enough time to look it over. I am planning to send it around to the council so that you'll have a chance to review it prior to the public hearing as well.
Forgive me, that public hearing in October, do you know what the date is by any chance?
No, we haven't scheduled it yet, but it will be at one of the meetings in October.
And it would be helpful for you to have comments from council by the public hearing on
Yes.
this document.
That
I mean,
would be great.
We already have a draft of it, right? So comments from council on this document prior to the public hearing are most helpful for Mila.
So you should probably have about a month. I can send it around tomorrow. And it is available for the public on the sustainability website, and it has been for a few weeks as well. I just wanted to let everybody know as well that the Utah Water Conservation Forum will be in Moab. They're really interested in our gray water projects. They'll be touring those sites on October 15th. And they have asked that Moab City join the Utah Water Conservation Forum, so that's something that we are considering doing as well. All right, that's water. Rocky Mountain Power streetlight conversion. I know that we talked about this briefly during the budget. They are ready to change out our 419 lights to become dark sky compliant. I think the exciting thing about this is that not only do we become compliant with our dark sky ordinance, but we also save about $30,000 a year just in converting over to LEDs. So that project will pay for itself in less than 3 years in those savings, as well as making our streets better lit. We will have this for approval before the council at the next meeting, so you'll see the details of that plan then. And they did send me these graphics. The first two are generally what we have here, the high pressure sodium, and then the Evolve LED roadway lighting is what they're going to replace it with. It's a GE light, I believe. And they will be available to potentially change out area lights at private homes for a much reduced cost if there are people interested. So depending on the timing, if they can get materials in time to do that at the same time, we'll be able to offer that to the public at a reduced cost. All right, sustainability action plan.
Real quick about
Yes.
the lights too. Kaylin, you're on that committee and there's all kinds of work. Is it going to be beyond this municipal city limits? Is there?
No, these are
it's-
just city lights.
Okay.
I hope that Rocky Mountain Power, we had encouraged them to get in touch with the county. I don't know how those conversations ended up, but I know that they at least were trying to chat with the people over there to see if they could do it at the same time. So, all right, sustainability action plan. The timeline is below there. So now we are convening technical advisory groups to review the goals that are in the current draft of the sustainability plan. I'm planning on having 5 groups. You can see I've combined a few of these sections. So the new sections there are relatively similar to the ones that are in the plan currently, but they're just a little bit more aligned with what is typical these days, and also a little bit more aligned with sort of the UN Sustainable Development Goals as well. So they're, just a little more universal, I guess. And then the technical advisory groups will review our current goals, suggest new ones, offer changes, and then the outcome of that will go to a public comment period in October and November.
And then I anticipate council workshops happening probably December and January. I know we're seating a few new council members, so I'm assuming that I'm probably going to try to involve both the old council and the new council prior to putting it up for a vote and adoption. We are also, well, I can mention that in the Climate Week item, but we are going to have a community vision session as part of Utah Climate Week, where we'll have some boards out in the Moonstone Gallery and be asking the community to rank their priorities under these sections. So please come out to that if you are listening. Quick update on our solar arrays. I've been tracking down the monitoring websites and actually getting logged in to see what's happening with our solar arrays. It turns out we had been about 30% down due to maintenance issues. So we've gotten at least City Hall fixed. So we are currently, as of about a week ago, producing 30% more power than we were before, which is great. The mark is still a mystery. We're going to work with Gardner Energy to get that one back online. The installer seems to be gone, so we don't have a lot of information about that one. But the WRF and the animal shelter arrays are all connected, and we're working on any other maintenance needs there. And it's been amazing working with Levi and Chase to get all that done. So I really appreciate their help. All right, Utah Climate Week is September 26th through October 2nd, in combination with USU Extension and then also the Grand County Library and the Festival of Science. We'll be hosting some events. I think we have one every day for the public. There's, starting with the Moab Festival of Science keynote speaker, Dr. Catherine Hayhoe. She has just come out with a new book. The title of it is the title there of her talk. And then we have a Zoom conversation on Monday with Dr. Rob Davies,